Shalom, shalom. Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shabbarak, to all my sisters. Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shabbarak, to all my brothers. Yahweh Shemar, Alethah Shem, Yahweh Shabbarak, all my sisters. This is Officer of 1,000 Rakal Ariel hitting you up out of the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, straight out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yahanna. And what we do is we teach the Black, Hispanic, and Native people that they are the God's true and only chosen people. And with being God's true and only chosen people comes with a set of responsibilities. It comes with a set of morals, a set of standards. And those standards is to follow the laws that he has set forth. Now, what do those laws do? What do those laws mean? Those laws is for us to show love and brotherhood to each other, for us to look out for one another. Those laws segregate us from the rest of the world because these laws wasn't given to everybody. They were given to only us. They're only given to the Black, Hispanic, and Native people. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to open up, shalom, shalom, Brother Richie Rich, shalom. I'm going to open up the class to any questions, any comments. You know, today's subject, as you can see in the title, is about sex is marriage. You know what I'm saying? Sex is marriage, and that is a set of morality within itself. When you think about sex being marriage, you don't think about what that comes with, what type of mind frame that comes with. You're just thinking pleasure. You're just thinking whoever I have sex with, that's who I'm with. No, it's beyond that. You got to think from the beginning of time what it means. You know what I'm saying? Is all sex marriage? No, not all sex is marriage. Some sex is literally just a form of fornication. And what is fornication? Fornication is is biblically unlawful marriage. What is unlawful sexually biblically? That is fornication. You know what I'm saying? But we're going to get into it. We're going to start off with Exodus 22 and 16. Let me put that up in there. Let's get with Exodus 22 and 16. Give y'all a couple seconds to get there. And if you have any questions, just type them on in. Let's make this class interactive. Let's see where y'all minds is at, because I'm going to ask y'all some questions too. I know y'all like to think y'all know everything, but that's not true. Let's get with it. Exodus chapter 22, verse 16. And if a man entice a maid, that's what we got to understand. First off, let's understand what the word maid means. All right, let's go into definition of Webster's. Let's go into the Webster's. Let's get a full understanding on what the word maid means, because some people may think maid means servant. Some people may think maid means that lady that's, taking milk out of the cow. You know what I'm saying? Just maid means a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? Hold on. Here we go. Let's look at maid. M-A-I-D. Maid. Let's get that on the share screen real quick. Maid, by definition, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary. Maid, noun, unmarried girl or woman, especially when, aka virgin, which is a whole nother definition. So we're going to stick with maid. Maid servant, a woman or girl employed to do domestic work. You know what I'm saying? With definition one, if a man entices an unmarried girl or woman, especially when young, okay, like he's enticing her. He's enticing an unmarried girl or woman. Let's see what entice means. Let's see what entice means. You know what I'm saying? Entice, a verb, which is an action. That's something that you're doing. Entice, enticing. Transitive verb, to attract artfully or adroitly or by arousing hope or desire, aka tempt. Enticing means he's tempting her. He's trying to attract her artfully. He's trying to arouse her curiosity. That's what entice means. So this brother, this man, is trying to tempt or arouse a young woman or a woman that is unmarried. You know what I'm saying? That's what that brother's trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Rich has a question. What is can you explain fornication? Like I was saying earlier, fornication is literally, if you look in the Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary, it's literally defined as unlawful sex. And we're going to get into that a little later, more deeper. All right? But within this scripture, let's read it from the top. If a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, if he is tempting her, he's spitting that game. You know what I'm saying? He's all up in the ear, whispering sweet nothings, you know what I'm saying? All on the phone on the late night, making her smile, making her giggle. You know how it is nowadays, you know what I'm saying? You don't even have to be in front of her. He could be on the phone. He could be all up in her DMs. You know what I'm saying? Sending those good morning love messages. You know, brown nosing, as we would say in the 90s, brown nosing. He could be doing all that. You know what I'm saying? And he's enticing her. So if a man does that, let's continue. And lie with her. And lie with her. What does that mean? What's the archaic word of lie? If you're in the chat right now, can you type in what the word lie means? When a man lies with a woman, what does that mean? You can put on chat right now. What does it mean when a man entices a maid? And he lied. First he enticed her. If you're Black, Hispanic, and Native, you should understand this, because this is what's trying to be done every day in your life. Lay down with her. Richard Rich says lay down with her. Well, I could lay down with, with a lot of people. I remember going to my grandmother's house. Me and my sisters had to lie in the same bed. What does that mean? I need something more specific for this archaic form of English that we're reading. Don't worry, you can speak formally, Richie, man. This is a class, but man, you gotta be extra proper. Say what's on your mind. Because you gotta remember, the Bible is a book for Black people. It's a book that was written to niggas, for niggas, and by niggas. It is our book, plain and simple. So when you speak about it and you speak on it like you are speaking to your own people. That's how you could get the understanding of the Bible a little easier. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a book for everybody. It's written in a way that only we could understand, because Black, Hispanic, and Native people got a special understanding when it comes to this word called context. You know what I'm saying? Because we could say the same word and mean 5 different things with it. Now, lie, for the sake of time, I want to tell you, the man, he enticed her, spit some game to her, and he had sex with her. That's what it is. He had sex with her. He, you know, put some chills down her spine, had the headboard banging. Now, if a man does that, let's read. And he shall surely endow her to be surely his wife. That is now her position bestowed upon her. He got to pay that dowry if he did it before he paid the dowry. You know what I'm saying? He definitely got to, because you can't just lie. I mean, you can, but it's just not proper. It's not a sin to lie with a woman before you pay the dowry, but it's just not the proper thing to do. It's not respectable. It's not be done. What you should do is go to a person that is taking care of her at that point. There you go. There you go, Richie. Has sex with her. Damn right. Now, what you must do at that point is, like, go to the man, you know what I'm saying? Tell him that you're interested in his daughter or niece or whatever it may be. And when you go to him, you tell him your interest, you tell him, you know, and he'll, you know, try to strike a deal with you, because that woman is actually a help unto him. She is benefiting her father. She is benefiting her uncle, whoever she's with. She's a benefit unto that person. And you're taking away something that makes his life easier and simple. So some things got to be paid. A business transaction has to be made. You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, you got to pay that dowry. Let's go to Deuteronomy 22 and 28. Matter of fact, let me type it up in here. Let me see. Let's start with, we're going to get with it real quick. We're going to get with it. We're going to stay in this chapter for a little bit. All right? Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, like, this class isn't just about marriage. It's how to conduct yourself in marriage and what marriage is and what marriage isn't. And we're going to get into how to conduct yourself as men in a marriage real quick. And if you go into her, you paid your dowry, you go into her and you say, yo, I do not like this woman. She is a headache. She's always running her mouth. She's a pain in my neck, blah, blah, so forth, so on. This scripture is about you. This scripture is about those who cannot handle the woman that they are with, or don't like her for whatever What reason do you have not to love the woman that you're laying down with? What reason? Give me a reason. She's always interrupting you while you're playing video games, or she's always yelling or something. What reason do you have? She's always whatever reason you may have. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get into it. Think about it for this sec. Whatever reason it may be. You know what I'm saying? And verse 14, and give occasion of speech against her. Like, this is something that usually women do. And when women do it, it's wrong. So if a man does it, it's even worse. He's just talking trash about it. He's talking against it. He's just bashing her in front of his brothers. And like that, it looks bad on him too. You're talking about your woman, your responsibilities, somebody that you're supposed to be taking care of. Talking trash behind her back instead of directly to her. That's right. She does not dress appropriately. You know what I'm saying? Simple reasons like that. You know what I'm saying? That makes no sense. And you going around talking about how she's always dressed in a certain manner, but you ain't telling her to put some clothes on. Stop walking around half naked. You're making him and herself look bad. You ain't saying that to her, but you want to go behind her back speaking against her. Let's continue. And bring up an evil name upon her and say, I took this woman, and when I came to her, I found her not a maid. So, you know, a lot of brothers, when they all want to get rid of a woman, the first thing they say is she's a hoe. The first thing they say against their woman is she is a hoe. You know why they say that? Because that's the easiest excuse to leave a woman. That's an excuse that you could say and nobody would disagree with. She a hoe, she a hoe. You gotta leave. You know what I'm saying? That's something that everybody will accept. She's a hoe. What's the point of being with her? She no longer belongs to you. But a lot of unrighteous people would just accept his excuse and not, you know what I'm saying, go find out the truth. Because what that brother is saying is not just against that woman. It's also against her father. It's like he's telling the world that her father is selling you bad goods. Selling you something that, you know what I'm saying, that he falsely advertised. He said his daughter was this. He said his daughter was that. Next thing you know, you find out something different. Now you're making him look. Now, if he got other daughters, brothers are going to at least likely go to him to marry him. These women would be single forever. Just because one brother said that a sister was not a virgin when he got with her. That she's a hoe. And no man wants a hoe. If you're a man, you do not want a hoe. It's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? Let's get with it. Let's continue on. Verse 15. Then shall the father of the damsel and the mother take and bring forth the token of the damsel's virginity to the elders of the city in the gate. Like there's a process to prove it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you get it in with a woman that never had sex, you know, with a man before, you know, you're saying you break what they call her hymen, aka as we say in the hood, you break a cherry. Once you break a cherry, blood leaks out onto the sheets, and those sheets are actually kept as a token of proof. Those sheets are proof that she was who she said she was before she got with you. And the father and the mother will hold on to that just in case evil and wicked looks like you would say that she is not. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter to this man to wife, and he hated her, because it is hatred. To call this woman that is serving you, who dedicated her life to you, who is bearing you kids, to call her a hoe when she is not. Now, what is a hoe? That's what you must ask yourself. What is a whore? A whore is not just a whore in their head. With anybody that is not following their head, who is not going with the leadership that they should be going with. Like if you see a Christian in church, a black, Hispanic, or Native Christian in the Christian church doing whatever he does in the church, he is a whore. You see him in a Muslim mosque, he is a whore. When you see that woman making chicken for the pastor, but her husband's at home with nothing to eat, she is a whore. A whore goes against their head. And this woman, if she is not going against her head, if she is doing everything that her head asks, she is not a whore. If she is following her husband, she is not a whore. If she's not following her husband, well, she's a whore. She'd rather listen to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, listen to Steve Harvey, listen to everybody on the internet over her husband, over the person that she should be calling, then she is a whore. But if a woman does do that and you call her a whore, you are about as evil as it gets. You are the definition of evil. But let's continue. Verse 17. And lo, he hath given occasion of speech against her, saying, I found out thy daughter a maid, and yet these are the tokens of my daughter's virginity. Like this brother speaking against her, saying she is not a maid, she is not a virgin, she is not pure. You know what I'm saying? She's somebody else. But he has that token. He has the evidence. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders, so that I can see the spots of blood. You know what I'm saying? She bled out. You know what I'm saying? He got up in there. He did what he did. This is that. Let's continue. And elders of the city shall take that man and chastise him. He's going to correct it. It's not good if you're against a woman, because you technically look bad when you're doing it. When you do it and you found out that you're lying, you're spitting lies, well, you're going to get chastised. You're going to have to get punished. You know what I'm saying? But it goes further than that. And they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver and give them unto the father of the damsel. So like, he's going to have to pay. You bad talk to his daughter, you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to give up some dough. Come up out those pockets. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought up an evil name on a virgin of Israel, and she shall be his wife, and he may not put her away all his days. So now you're stuck with this woman that you hated, who never did you any wrong in the first place, but now you're stuck with her. Now you got to deal with her. Now you got to treat her as the wife she deserves to be treated. And not just that, you came out of pocket for it. You know what I'm saying? You came out of pocket. You had to pay the father money for your little attempt, and it failed. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. But if this thing be true, now if she is not a virgin, there was no spotting on that token. You know what I'm saying? And the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of the father's house, and the men of her city shall stone her with stones, that she die, because she hath wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house. So shalt thou put evil away from among you. Like, it's not good to call a woman a whore, and it's not good to be a whore. Pain comes both ways. Pain comes with it both ways. Let's drop down a bit. Let's drop down a bit. Let's drop down to No. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's go to some more things. You know what I'm saying? Verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, like you see a man and a woman get an issue, this woman to be the wife to another man. That means she's playing the whore. And he is with her. He is the one that is, you know what I'm saying, banging around, you know. Let's continue. Then they shall both of them die. Both of them gotta die. Both of them gotta be done away with. You know what I'm saying? But the people, you gotta take certain evils like that away from us. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Let's continue. Both the man that lie with the woman and the woman, so shalt thou put away evil from Israel. Because if you look throughout history, some things that one person's sin could take down this whole nation. One person's fault, one person's folly could destroy all of us. And so we have to put it away. Because if we don't put it away, we are showing that we accept such behavior amongst our people. And such things should not be tolerated, period. And this is one of the things that is not seen as marriage. This is seen as fornication because it is an unlawful form of sex, which is labeled as adultery. This is adultery, which is a form of fornication. So when you commit adultery, with another woman, or we having a bit of, but you know what I'm saying? A woman sleeping with a man, that's unlawful. So both of them have to die. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Verse 23. If a damsel is a virgin, be betrothed unto an husband. That means betrothed means promise. Like she hasn't laid with the man yet, but she is promised unto him, aka engaged. You know what I'm saying? They are promised to each other. There is a relationship being formed there. You know what I'm saying? And a man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out unto the gate of that city, and ye shall stone with stones that they die. The damsel, because she cried not. Hold on, what does it mean because she cried not? You understand what that means because she cried not? Let me explain something. In today's world, a lot of women, I'm not saying every woman, but I have seen this with my own eyes. A lot of women will tell their daughters if they are getting raped just to take it, so he will not kill her. But let me tell you something, sisters. If you are in that situation, yell, claw, scratch, scream, do whatever you can. Do whatever you can, because there's always better to die than to be dishonored. Because if you don't cry out, people are going to think that you wanted it. It don't mean that you did, but that's the way people are going to be thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's the way their mind's going to work. They're going to think that you want it and that sex was consensual because you just stood there and took it. You ain't try to get no DNA under your nails or nothing. But let me tell you something. If you're in that situation, do that. Go for his eyeballs. Do something. Try to hurt him and maim him. Try to scream, fight as loud as you can. And with any hope and with the mercy of the Most High, somebody will be nearby and help you out of that situation. We'll help you right on out of it. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Being in the city. And the man, because he hath humbled his neighbor's wife, so thou shalt put away evil from among you. So if they didn't like, if this, let's say this was consensual, right? They both consented to this act. Then they both have committed evil. They both have committed evil. So they both got to be done away with. Because their evil could take down this whole nation. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field. So if a man finds a woman that's promised to somebody, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lie with her shall die. So I know you got a lot of these fake Israelite groups that like to say, you know, rape is condoned. But that right there sounds like it's not. Because if you find a woman that's with another man and she don't want to lay with you, so she's fighting, she's scratching, she's clawing, you know what I'm saying? She's putting up some type of defense. Well, you must die. You must die. You literally try to rape a woman. Now, I know what some of y'all may think, well, that's if she's betrothed. But broaden the scope. Because the subject right now is marriage. The subject isn't rape. The subject is marriage. So if you take a woman that's not betrothed and force yourself on her, does that make it okay? I'm telling you, you can't show me that in the scriptures. I'm telling you that right now. That's not in the scriptures at all. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, bear with me one sec. But let's continue. Let's continue. Verse 26. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. She was the one raped. You know what I'm saying? The victim, she ain't do nothing wrong. So if you find her and she's being raped, she doing nothing wrong. Her life should not be taken. But that man's life should be got to die. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Oh yeah, here we go in the middle. For as when a man rises against neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. Like this is no different. Like when you rape a woman, it's no different from you killing your neighbor. Raping a woman is literally killing her. You understand the mental hell a woman goes through when that is done unto her. You know, understand that she sees herself. Most women will literally consider themselves worthless. They will find a value of themselves that is not valuable at all. They will show value in their sexuality, in being a whore, being a slut, being the next Meg Thee Stallion or Cardi B. That's how they will see their value. All they would talk about is how good their coochie is, how good their head game is, how good they look, this, that, this, and they can't even make a biscuit from scratch. They can't sew up nothing. They can't do nothing. They have no value within themselves because that man took away that value. That man destroyed their mentality. That's why he needs to die, because he literally committed murder. Even though it was a sexual act, it is equal to murder. And that's not marriage. So everybody who don't believe sex is marriage like to say, what if you rape somebody? Are you married? No. Rape is not marriage. Well, I had sex with a lot of people. Is that marriage? No. That's called fornication in some shape, form, or fashion. I'm pretty sure that woman belonged to another man. No, that's not marriage. You know what I'm saying? Marriage is when you have sex with somebody that you're supposed to have sex with, which is promised unto you. You know what I'm saying? A person that, we're going to get into it. It gets deeper. We're going to get into it. You know what I'm saying? But let's finish this off. Verse 28. But if a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold and lie with her, and they be found. This is a consensual thing right here. He finds the woman, he lies hold of her, he spits in her, and he lays with her before he pays the dowry. You know what I'm saying? And they be found. The man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel unto father 50 shekels of silver, and shall be his wife. And she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her. He may not put her away all his days. A man shall not take his father's wife, nor discover his father's skirt. That's another one. There's another thing. Like, I see this happening every now and then in the world, where a father would take his son's daughter, or a father would take his son's woman, or a son would take his father's one. That's just sick. Why would you want to put your rod in a place where your father's rod was? Why would you want to put your rod in a place where any man's rod was? In that case, it's sick. It's sick. But those are forms of things that is not marriage. And he gave you an example of what is a marriage. When she is single, a single woman that is not betrothed, and you spit that game, you get with her, she gives it up, you still got to pay that virgin dowry. You know what I'm saying? You still got to pay that. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Let's see other forms of things that is not marriage. Let's go to Deuteronomy 7:3. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Hold on, what does it mean you can't make marriages with them? Can't make marriages with anybody? Marriage is something that's pointless now? Marriage shouldn't exist? Now let's get further into it. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his sons. You can't give your daughters unto his sons. Nor his daughters shalt thou take unto thy son. Nor shall you take their daughters unto your sons. Now, what is this talking about? I hear a lot of these possessive pronouns, but none of it's making sense right now, because it's not in context. Let's read the verse above that. Verse 2. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them and utterly destroy them. And thou shalt make no covenant with them, nor show mercy unto them. Hold on. I'm still confused. Are you confused? I'm still confused. Let's go up a little further. Let's go up to the first verse. Get even more clarity on this. Catch up, y'all. I'm trying to teach y'all something. Chapter 7, verse 1. When the Lord thy God shall bring thee into the land, whether that was already in that land. There was people in that land. And so the Most High was preparing us to do. Continue. And hath cast out many nations before thee. Like he's casting out many nations just for us to get this land. These that he's talking about. These are other races of people, other nationalities, other families. He's casting them out of this land that we are promised. So we can take it. Let's continue. The Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites. 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. Like these are a whole bunch of nations. Like I know a lot of people like to focus on those nations. There's groups of fake Israelites that like to focus on those nations. But all those nations are different type of nations. There are Edomites that's listed here. There's Hamites that's listed here. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, there's the fake Jewish people. There's a whole bunch of other nations here. But in other books of the Bible, you can see even further other nations that we should not be marrying. But let me continue. All these nations are mightier than us. And when the Lord thy God shall deliver them before thee, like when he gets rid of them before us, in front of our eyes, we are taking them out of this land. Straight up and down, out of this land. And when we get them out of there, guess what we're doing? Guess what we're doing? We are killing them. We are slaughtering them. We are doing untype of acts that most people would not accept being done to their people. So let's continue. Thou shalt smite them, their words. If you look up the word smite, smite literally means to destroy, to kill. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. And utterly destroy them. We're going to destroy these other nations. We are to destroy them. That is what we should be doing, is destroying them. But let's continue. Thou shalt make no covenant with them. Guess what? What's a covenant? A covenant is an agreement that forms peace between two parties. We should not be seeking their peace. So a form of interracial marriage is a covenant between two separate nations. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you see Serena Williams, she will not tell you that the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Serena Williams won't tell you that. You know who else won't tell you that? Kanye West will not tell you that the white woman is the devil that the Bible speaks of. He will not tell you that. You know why? Because they made a covenant with those nations. But let's continue. Nor show mercy unto them. We should not be showing them mercy. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. We ain't supposed to be marrying them. So interracial marriage is not a form of marriage in God's eyes. So when you have sex with somebody outside of your race, that is not marriage either. Interracial marriage is not a form of marriage. Interracial marriage is no different from pedophilia. It's no different from, you know what I'm saying, homosexuality. It's no different from adultery. It's all sins. And adultery is not a form of marriage. It's just that simple. But let's continue. Hold on one sec. Thy daughter thou shalt not take thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son. Like, we should not be giving our princesses to marry their sons. You see what's going on with these black women getting abused by their so-called Caucasian husbands. It happens every day. You know what I'm saying? And we're giving our daughters unto their families, unto their culture, unto their lifestyles, unto their way of living. And we should not be taking their daughters unto our way of life. Their daughters should not be marrying our sons. We should only be marrying each other. We should only be keeping to each other. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to drop that. Let's get hold on one second. I think I got a splinter. But let's go to Deuteronomy 22, verse 22 real quick. Let's get some. I already read that. Let's drop that. Let's get Ezra 19 and 12. 9 and 12. Ezra 9 and 12. Let's emphasize on this real quick. Let's emphasize on this interracial relationships. Bear with me, bear with me. I'm there. Oh, I'm supposed to be putting it in the chat, ain't I? Let's get with it. I went Ezra 9 and 12. 9 and 12. If you're there, read along. If not, hope you get a Bible real soon so you can. All right. Should I go up higher? Let's start with 10. And now, O our God, what shall we say after this? For we have forsaken the commandments which thou hast commanded by the servants the prophets, saying, the land unto which ye go to possess it is an unclean land, with the filthiness of the people of the land, with abominations which have filled it from one end to another, with their uncleanness. Like, this is like going back to what we was reading in Deuteronomy, how we was going to possess the land. This reiterates why we did what we did, because they are unclean people. They are nasty. They are filthy. The land has to be purified now. You know what I'm saying? Let's read it again. Now, therefore, give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take your daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever, that ye may be strong and eat the good of the land, and leave it for an inheritance to your children forever. That is our problem with our people today. We are quick to get rich, get famous, you know what I'm saying? Gain all type of power. And then we share it with somebody that will give it back to her people. So we'll have that power, that money for a little bit, but then we give it back to our enemies. That's what the Lord don't want. If we take it over, that power is meant for us, and we should keep it within us. Be strictly selfish about it. You know what I'm saying? That's what we should be. We should be completely selfish with such power. That's why the Lord does not condone interracial relationships. You know what I'm saying? Interracial relationships is an issue. But if you got any questions, type them on in. I will catch them. Let me look on the TikTok. Let me see if there's any on TikTok. Nah, not on TikTok right now. Any questions, type them on in. But as you can see, interracial relationship is not a form of marriage unto the Most High power. You know what I'm saying? But let's go to Leviticus 18 and 18. Let's go to some more laws. Because remember, the Christian church like to tell you that the law is done away with. And if you believe what the Christian church says, that means everything that's in here, in the book of Leviticus, which is another way of saying the book of laws, if the law is done away with, everything in Leviticus is up for grabs. You can do whatever you want. But let's see what Leviticus is telling you not to do. Where should I start? Let's start with this whole book is dope. But for the sake of time, like this is who's like the book of Leviticus chapter 18 is all about who you could have sex with, who you could view naked, and who you cannot view naked. It's more on who you cannot view naked, because if they're not on this list, then you can view them naked. But let's start with for the sake of time, let's start with 14. No, let's start with 12. Let's start with 12, just because if I turn the page, I'm probably going to want to go further back, but let's start with 12. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister. She is thy father's near kinsman. Like, why you want to be looking at your aunt naked? Why you want to be viewing your aunt's nakedness? You know what I'm saying? All right, Richie Rich, he asked a very interesting question. Are Cape Verdeans Israelites? I'm not Cape Verdean, just wondering. Here's what you must understand. Cabo Verde was a slave port. And it being a slave port, after it became a slave port, it decided to become a settlement. And when it became a settlement, there's 3 different nations that decided to stay there and settle there. You got the Africans, who was capturing us and bringing us to Cabo Verde, who was selling us to the Portuguese or other European races. So you had the mostly the Portuguese, a few Spaniards, a few English and so forth there. So we have Europeans there and we have Africans there. But let's remember, they were selling Negroes for slaves before it got shut down, before slavery became abolished. So now you got 3 races of people. You got the Negroes. You know what I'm saying? You got, slaves. Not just the Negroes. There were some Tainos there because they were stopped there too during their trips to get back to Spain or Portugal. They made stops there. So you possibly have 3 races of people there. Now the question is, who do you descend from? Like saying are Cape Verdeans Israelites is no different from saying is Africans Israelites. It's no different from saying if Asians are Israelites. Because the simple fact is, Israelites are scattered among the world. We are everywhere due to slavery. Not just due to slavery, was due to the 70 AD. You know what I'm saying? When we had to run from the desolation of Israel. When we had to run from our lives, we spread it across the whole planet. So could there be Israelites in Cabo Verde that claim to be Cape Verdean? Yes. No different than there's Israelites in Nigeria that claim to be Igbo. No different from the Israelites in Brazil that claim to be Brazilian. No different than there's Israelites in China that claim that they're Chinese. There are Cape Verdeans that are Israelites, but all Cape Verdeans Israelites? No. No, not all Cape Verdeans are Israelites. You know what I'm saying? You good with that answer? You need any more on that? Let me know if you need any more then. No response yet? All right, I got you. All right, Most High in Christ. Good, good. Now, what was I at? I was in Ezra, right? Ezra 9 and 12, right? So you don't want to be looking at your aunties. Let's continue. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister. You can't even be looking at your mother's sister. That's sick too. For she is thy mother's near kinsman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. So you women out there that's looking at your uncles, y'all a little weird too. Thou shalt not approach, but hey, y'all uncles out there looking at your nieces, y'all weird too. Let's get that clear. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law. So, like I was saying earlier, there's a lot of fathers sleeping with their son's women. That's your daughter-in-law. With or without a certificate, that's still your daughter-in-law. And that's the problem with the world. We put that certificate above God's law. Like that certificate in that ring means more than what God says. God says you are married when a man entices a woman and gives her chills down her spine. That's when you're married. If you didn't want to be married to that man, don't let him send chills down your spine. Just that simple. Let's continue. Thou shalt not uncover the naked. Oh yeah, I read that part. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. Like you want to look at your brother's woman, that is you might as well be looking at your brother. Real talk. You might as well be checking out your brother, seeing him naked. That's his possession. Like when the Bible says when two people become one, they are one flesh. When they get it in, they become one flesh. What does that mean? You checking out your brother's women, man, you might as well be checking him out. You having sex with your brother's women, guess what? You might as well be having sex with your brother. Or any man that is with that woman. You don't even necessarily have to be your brother. If you're looking at your father's woman and you have sex with her, you might as well be having sex with your father. You're looking at Jim down the block's woman and you getting it in with Jim down the block's woman, guess what? You might as well be having sex with Jim. And that what? What is that? That is literally sick. But let's continue. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. So you can't be having sex with a woman and her daughter. That's just madness. You know what I'm saying? We live in a world where, you know what I'm saying, a lot of sisters, they how may I say, they get into situations where they have to have we don't live in a perfect world. So a lot of sisters, you know what I'm saying, they have children before they settle down. And not just that, right? There's women who may become widowed, you know, like the father of the children end up dead and they end up marrying another brother. Sometimes those dudes end up sickos. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they end up sickos and they end up having sex with those daughters. Having sex with the woman and her daughter. That's sick. That's confusion. That's madness. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Neither shalt thou take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter. That's grandchildren and all, because I know it goes down. That pedophilia stuff, there's no limit to it. There's no limit to that pedophilia. You go down and you will have sex with anybody that's younger than you. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be having sex with none of them. The daughters, none of those great grandchildren, none of them. You shouldn't be touching children, period. That's just madness. Neither shalt thou take a wife to her sister. You can't even take in your woman's sister. And when that scripture is read, I know a lot of people like to bring up our forefather Jacob when it comes to Leah and Rebecca, right? But you got to think, that wasn't Jacob's plan. It wasn't Jacob's idea to have both of them. He was tricked into having both of them due to the customs of Laban in that city that he was in. You know what I'm saying? So Laban tricked Jacob into taking, I believe it was Leah. Took Leah first, right? He worked 7 years for Rebecca, but ended up getting Leah due to the customs of Laban and in that custom of that society at that time. The older daughter had to get married first. But he ain't forsake him because he said, give me another 7 years and then you can have Rebecca. Now, the thing is, Jacob could have easily said, no, give me my woman. I made a deal with you. You forsook the deal. Leah is not my wife because that's not who I worked and toiled for. That's not who I paid the dowry for. He could have been like that, but no, he knew that if I lie with her, that is officially my woman, no matter what. He ain't even put up an argument about that. He just worked a whole nother 7 years. He put in a whole nother 7 years. So technically he worked 14 years for one woman. He worked 14 years with no pay for one woman. Ended up with 2, but he wanted 1. You know what I'm saying? But what this is saying right here is that because that happened don't mean we should be doing it. What you're going to do is have these sisters bumping heads. You're going to have these sisters against each other, angry at each other, fighting each other. So no, don't be getting with the sisters of your woman. Don't be trying to plot. That's just some sick-minded porn stuff too. That's another thing. People be watching too much porn and think that that's reality-based. You can't do that. There's a lot of acting going on in pornography, and you're watching porn thinking that that's not acting. Thinking that that can actually happen in real life. Thinking that you could become a pizza delivery guy and just end up in some type of wild orgy. No. That's not reality. You know what I'm saying? So stop watching porn, man. That's where a lot of this sickness is coming from too. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get Genesis 2:18. Let's go back to the beginning. Let me type that in the chat. And give y'all a second. Get this like at the beginning of the book. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. Genesis 2:18. Give me a sec. Genesis chapter 2, verse 18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that a man should be alone. All you single brothers out there, you know what it is. You know exactly what that scripture means. It takes a special type of strength for a man to be single his whole life. Those men are special, one of a kind. I tell you right now, I couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we don't have women, let me tell you where our mind goes. without women, we don't take care of ourselves as well. Without women, we're not releasing ourselves, if you know what I mean. We're not having sex as much. So we tend to become more aggressive, more angry, more fueled up to fight. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of issues come with a man that doesn't have a woman. We lose focus on things. We don't think right. That's the problem with it. So it's a good thing for a man to find a woman. It's a good thing. Let's read that again from the top. And the Lord said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. Like, just because he's with a woman, that doesn't mean it's a good thing either. If she's not a helpmeet, she's more of a hindrance. She's more of a headache. She's more something that's just further making him confused and unclear and just angry. Because women do got that power too. They got that power to relax a man and make things easier, and they got that power to destroy a man by making things harder. That's why you got to be careful with who you have sex with. That's the important reason why thinking sex is marriage. See, a lot of people think saying sex is marriage is some type of lustful way of thinking, but no. Because yes, sex is pleasurable. Yes, indeed, that's what it is. What it's meant for. But it does come with a set of responsibilities. Like, if you think clearly, like, if we were raised to believe sex is marriage as a people, think about it. You were raised to believe that the person that you have sex with, you got to stay with for the rest of your life. You have to be with them for the rest of the life. When would have been the first time you had sex? I want y'all to type that in. I see y'all in here. We got people over here, people over there. If you knew that sex was marriage from young, when would have been the first time you had sex willingly? When would you have actually said it's time? Because let me tell you something. Knowing that sex is marriage, knowing that I cannot leave this woman, which may be on my nerves forever, which may be a giant ball of aggravation, I got to put up with her and her future, help her plan her future. I got to do all types of things with her. You know what I'm saying? I got to do all types of things with her. You know what I'm saying? I can't leave her unless she has with somebody else. When would have been time you had sex? I'll tell you right now, it's probably a whole lot later than when I did. And I wouldn't be, the type to have sex with any and everybody. See, you thinking that is pleasure, you will have sex with anybody and everybody. That's what the Christian church teaches. Sex is just for pleasure. Marriage is actually a ring and a certificate. That's what they teach. That's what marriage is, a ring and a certificate, as if a man can't cheat with that ring and certificate, as if a woman can't cheat with that ring and certificate, as if that ring and certificate hands over responsibilities. Like it doesn't. But what gives you responsibilities is your morality. And once your morality says that this is not a game, that me laying in this bed with you and putting chills down your spine means that you are my problem. You are now my responsibility. I got to take care of you. Your way of thinking changes. Your way of thinking changes. Not everybody will be worthy of what you have to give. Now, true. Now that might be right, sis. If you knew that you had to stand that is technically a nut, he is the nut. He don't know what he wants. He is taking his anger out on the world, on you. My man says, when you're ready to have kids, that's right. When you're ready to have kids. But check it out, just having sex alone, you know, it's your responsibility. We believe and understand sex is marriage, there will be a whole lot less abortions in the world. Because you would be willing to sleep with a woman that you're wanting to have sex with, have kids with. Because you would know that that will be part of the responsibility. You would critique who you laying with. Like, damn, do I really want to have kids with her? Do I think she is worthy enough to be a mother to my children? You know what I'm saying? Is she a nut? You would be a whole lot more careful with who you sleep with. See, Christians don't teach you that type of morality. Christianity doesn't teach that type of morality. The government says to do. You know what I'm saying? What they teach you. But let's drop that. Let's go over one chapter. All right. Now, we're going into another problem that men have with their marriage. Like, this is another responsibility you have as a man in a marriage. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to choose who you lay with carefully. We're going back to Adam and Eve on this one. We're going back. So let's go to 3 and 17. Let me give you the backstory real quick, even though everybody knows the backstory. All right, Adam and Eve. Will tell you, but she was listening to people that she shouldn't have been listening. She ended up convincing Adam to do the same. And now God is chastising him. Now it's Adam's turn. So in Genesis 3 and 17, and unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, because you listened to your wife. Look, because you listen to her, you about to catch punishment. I mean, it's good to give ear to your wife, but the final decision should be you. Adam knew what the Lord said. He said, don't eat it from this tree. And he still ate from that tree, you know, he shouldn't have. He was listening to his woman. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, what does it say? They said, that's true, there will be a whole lot less abortions now. But let's continue. And has eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Curses the ground of thy sit for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of your life. Like, if you understand what the tree and that fruit is, that's the culture and the knowledge of other nations, which we are doing to this day. Us as Black Hispanic natives, we have no culture. We have no real knowledge of ourselves. We are being punished because Adam listened to his woman. And when we further listen to our woman, where does that bring us? That brings us into the knowledge of other nations. Our women wants to listen to horoscopes and all that other madness. And you trying to impress your woman, guess what you're going to do? You're going to be into horoscopes too, talking about you're a Gemini. Talking about you're a Libra, it's Libra season. And I think that is so gay. When I see brothers out there talking about their zodiac sign is their season, and you know what I'm saying? This just looks so weird to me. That's just something I don't know. To me, that's something only women do. That's just something only women do. We end up being Buddhists, into voodoo or hoodoo or whatever they call it now. Be into all types of madness. Listening to our women. You know, our women are very naive. That's why their name is Eve, because they are nigh unto Eve. And us listening unto them, it just gets us in a world of problems. I mean, you can't like hear them out. You could definitely hear them out, but to follow them, like Adam followed Eve and eating that fruit, eating from that tree, gives you a world of problems. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's get on. Let's get Leviticus 21:7. In Leviticus 21:7. And it reads, they shall not take a wife that is a whore. What does that mean? You should not take a wife that is whore. You should not take a wife that, put like this, a lot of us like to, how may I put it? Lead with our dick. Lead with our rod. Excuse my language. And in doing so, we end up in a world of mess. We end up sleeping with women that we should not be sleeping with. We end up being with women that we should not be with. You know what I'm saying? We end up with women that belong to other men, women who do not understand anything. They're very light women. They is a whore. Shall they flocking? They shall not take a wife a whore. Profane. What's going to be profane? Let's get back up to Webster's. You're going to take a wife that's a whore? Everybody knows what a whore is. Profane. Let me share that with you. Let me share that with you so you know I ain't making up stuff. Profane. To treat something sacred with abuse, irreverence, or contempt. To desecrate. Shouldn't take a woman that is willing to desecrate things that are of value. You know what I'm saying? To debase by wrong, unworthy, or vulgar use. That means she is a vulgar woman. She does not value a lot of things. Let's see. Profane as an adjective. Not concerned with religion or religious purposes. Not holy because unconsecrated and impure. Serving to debase or defile what is holy, important, obscene or vulgar, not being among the initiated, not possessing esoteric or expert knowledge. I mean, she's dumb. These are the type of women that we should not be getting with. She's a whore. She doesn't value anything. She profanes anything that you value. That means puts it down, desecrates it. But sometimes you just want to get in it because she's on Instagram showing that tail. She on Instagram doing the same typical pose as millions of other women. And you think you got something valuable. You think you got something that's one of a kind. You think you got something that, you know what I'm saying, means something. But let me tell you something. All you got is a whore that is profane. So you got to choose who you decide to lay with very carefully. You can't just be laying with any woman. Because a lot of these women will destroy you. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Should I go any further? No, I'm going to stop right there. Let's go back a couple chapters. Let's go into a little further understanding of what adultery is. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10. A man that committeth adultery, like this is talking about when a man commits adultery. You already know for a woman, when a woman commits adultery, is because she is sleeping with a man that is not her husband. Well, this right here is about to show you what it is for a man to commit adultery. All right? And the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, that's how a man commits adultery, with another man's wife. See, a man, is lawful for a man, according to the scriptures, to have more than one woman. It's not wise, it's not smart, it's not intelligent to do so, but it's not unlawful. It's honorable. You know what I'm saying? It's very honorable. But let's continue. Even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. That means they both got to go. They both got to go. It's just that simple. So let's continue. That's one form that is not marriage. Adultery is not marriage. And the man that lies with his father's wife, have uncovered his father's nakedness, both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. So it ain't even nobody else's fault. Their blood shall surely be upon them. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. If a man lie with his daughter-in-law, both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion. The blood shall be upon them. Most High is not the author of confusion. So, you ain't supposed to be sleeping with your son's woman. That's madness, that's confusion. You're going to turn your son against you. I've seen that happen before. One of the brothers, I'm very cool with this brother. His father is walking around with a woman he had kids with. With a woman he has kids with. So now the kids are confused, like, who's my daddy? Is my grandpa my daddy, or is my daddy my dad? Like, no confusion. But let's continue. If a man lie with mankind as he lieth with a woman, this is very important. If a man lies with mankind as he lies with a woman, this is talking about homosexuality. What does a man do when he's lying with a woman? Anything a man does when he's lying with his woman, he lies with the man and does the same thing. He is what you may call HEYK. He is he is LGBTQ. He is a rainbow flag waver. You know what I'm saying? Any man that lies, put like this, Richie. Nowhere in the Bible is oral sex a sin. Nowhere in the scriptures is oral sex a sin. So where there is no sin, there is no law. I mean, where there is no law, there is no sin. So whatever y'all do is what y'all do. That's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Either way, if you go down on her, she go down on you, it's perfectly all right. You cannot find that in the scriptures how it's a sin. A lot of people would like to equate sodomy to sin. But sodomy, they define it as, how can I put it? They define it today as anything. They define sodomy like they define fornication. Like anything that is unlawful, they define as sodomy, which is not true. Sodomy is the acts of what the people of Sodom was doing. And what the people in Sodom were doing was committing fornication in the form of homosexuality. That's what the people of Sodom was doing. And it's not just Sodom. It was Sodom and Gomorrah and like 5 other cities around them that was in this, that all got burnt to the ground because of them committing homosexual acts. Like if you go down on your woman, that's perfectly all right. But if you go down on a man, you are lying with man the same way you would lie with woman. And that's purely homosexual. That's homosexual. So no, oral sex is not a sin. All right, Richie, you understand that? Because there's no law in the scripture that says it is. And if you believe it is, point out that scripture for me. And we could chop it up. But I don't think I've seen that scripture. I don't think I've seen that. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. If a man lie with mankind as he lies with woman, both have committed an abomination. Like the scripture in the New Testament says, marriage is honorable amongst all things. So if a man having sex with man is marriage, why is God saying that it's an abomination? There's no honor in abominations. God should have said it's an abomination. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. Like, that's not our doing. Their blood's going to be upon them. If you look at all these diseases, even monkeypox is a darn near bloodborne. Even though it's contact, but God sin is upon them. AIDS is in the blood. AIDS, that sin is upon them. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Let's go to, no, we ain't gonna go to that one yet. Let's go to Ephesians 4:26. I think it's Ephesians. Bear with me a sec. I believe it's Ephesians. (14:7-3). Here we go. Okay, if you're there, read along with me. Okay, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26. Be ye angry and sin not. Like, there's ups and downs in all relationships. Right?